Greetings, good afternoon, good evening, happy Sunday, happy get ready to go back to work, educators. This is the Fort Valley Boys podcast. I'm your host, moderator, Fabian Vicks. Ryan Anderson will join us in a moment. We have my cousin Mary New Year on with us today. And on today's show, we're going to be talking, doing a recap on the NFL. We're back with movie rewinds on our Sunday episodes. We're going to do movie rewinds. So this movie, the first movie of this year, we're going to rewind is Trading Places, classic movie with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy and Jamie Lee Curtis. So we're gonna bring back some memories for that movie, and this, of course, is the part of the show where where we get all crunk up and get ready to go. So, Anatole, let's go.
Let's go.
Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Boys, yeah. Hold on. We them boys. Hold on. We them boys.
And this is the Fort Valley Boys podcast, and of course, we are brought to you by a plethora of sponsors, and we enjoy their products as far as them being our sponsor. The show is brought to you by Crazy Straws. That's Ryan's product. If you're crazy and you big straw and you got some straws, get your Crazy Straw. Also, our show is brought to you by Just for Men. If you got a little gray in your beard, you need to get that taken care of. Get that C3EF9 to get out that gray out your beard. Just for Men. Get it in any of your local stores. Of course, brought to you by Sprite, the Black People Soda. Damon's sponsor, the Black Folks Drink. Also brought to you by Arizona Tea from 1999 to 2023. It's still $1. Still $1. $1. $1. $1. $1. $1. $1. $1. $1. That's all it takes. $1.99.
$1 make you holler.
Ow! Of course, you can follow us on Facebook, Fort Valley Boys Podcast. Follow us on YouTube, Fort Valley Boys Podcast. BuyANightShirt.com. You went to HBCU, or if you're part of the Panhandle at 9 or Divine 9, BuyANightShirt.com. We'll have some great merch for you to get. Go on their site, get you some stuff. BuyANightShirt.com. Also, Damon Randall will have a new podcast called Chopping It Up. It starts in February 21st, I believe, is the date. I'll have Damon come. When Damon's on Wednesday, we'll have him talk about his new podcast and the premise and what the genesis of that podcast is. Check him out. It's called Chopping It Up. Damon's gonna be on different locations on his podcast. Support my guy. Do his thing. Do your thing, Damon. Do your thing, boy. Do it. And of course, our favorite sponsor, not just Henny and Coke, the dark liquors. The dark liquors. Cuzzo, what's going on, man?
Man, you know how I be in the country, man. I'm just trying to stay out the way. You know exactly how I be.
You had a good holiday?
You know, it was a good little holiday, man. Me and the wife went to the Bahamas for a couple of days. And
Whoa. Don't rub it in. Don't rub it in.
You know how I be, man. You know, I'm sporty. We went to the Bahamas for a couple of days, man, and just relaxed, before the holidays. And I'm back at work now. I mean, I work in, I work at a university, so we started work actually on Tuesday.
Which university you work at?
Is it on the screen? FAMU, work at FAMU. Number one historic Black College University, public. And I'm gonna be quiet, but I know where I work at. Been there a while. So we've been back at work, all last week. So tomorrow is the first day of school. So to all the new and returning students, good luck on this spring semester. Make it count.
Yeah, that's right. Make it count, because last semester was all right. You better do better this one, or you're gonna be at the house.
For real, you'll be at the house. Looking crazy, like I used to.
Don't tell everybody your business.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get the thing started, man. We're gonna a lot of NFL, a lot of implications in these games today. This was gonna be part of my parting shot, but I'm gonna go ahead and give Mike Tomlin his flowers. You have been a coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers for 15 years. You have yet to have a losing record, but yet they want you to go to college.
Tomlin is I'm gonna say this. How many years has been paid?
I I
You
think
said
it's 15,
15 years.
15 years ago.
That's Hall of Fame type numbers, man. That's crazy. In the modern NFL, you know, most coaches are gone.
After 3,
I
4
mean, this
years, too.
after 3-4 years, you know, and like we always say, you ready to find somebody every week, Fabe, you know. So, I mean,
But
this guy,
do I be wrong though? Do I be wrong?
you trying to find somebody every week, man. So,
But do I be wrong
this
though?
no, but we were trying to find Dan Campbell too last year, and look at the Lions. They got a chance to make the playoffs. You know, sometimes you gotta stick with them. You know what I mean? But what Tomlin did with this team, with no quarterback and a minimal running game, he did master work. My father-in-law is a Kappa, so he always say, you know, he's great because he's a Kappa. I don't know, I'm not a Kappa, but my father-in-law says that every week that Tomlin's gonna win. You know, be above the best because he's a Kappa. So shout out to my father-in-law.
See,
Shout out to my father-in-law. That's what my father-in-law said. I'm just saying.
they were founded at the University of Indiana in 1911. Anyway.
Yeah. And Tomlin went to a PWI as well. So
yes, I mean, but yeah, Mike Tomlin. I mean, but I wish Ryan was on here. He's gonna be coming in hot. We'll circle back to the Steelers when he comes on. We're gonna circle back. But a product of their running game, lack of a running game, and some of their struggles in the past game has been the offensive line, which has been a dumpster fire for the last 3-4 years. Even when Ben Roethlisberger was there, when Pouncey retired, that was the beginning of their struggles because he was the center, and the center is the heart of your line. Even though the left tackle is the most important for your right-handed quarterbacks, of course, the right tackle for your left-handed quarterback because they protect their blind side. But the center calls out all the signals, they call out the line changes, they see the blitz, so forth, so on. And that was the genesis of their offensive line play going down, especially the year they started off 11-0. I think it was the pandemic year when they were 11-0. And
yeah.
You got Najee Harris.
They drafted Najee. I just said they drafted Najee pretty high. He ended the year with 950 yards rushing, which is 14th in the NFL. But he had 249 carries, which is 6th highest in the NFL. His average per carry is a low 4, so I can't put it on Najee because the O-line hasn't been good. But I think they expected a Derrick Henry type impact from Najee. I mean, Najee the man, but he hasn't put it together this year. I think last year did he hurt last year? Can't remember, but
I think he missed a game or two last year.
I think he missed some games this year too. I'm pretty sure. Najee had he played all 12 last year. He had 1,200 last year and 1,000 his rookie year. I mean 1,200 rookie year, 1,000 last year. So yeah, Najee put up numbers, but this year was a little bad, a little down. Excuse me. The quarterback play. I was talking to a good buddy today. If your team doesn't have an elite quarterback, you're not going anywhere in the NFL. I mean, it's impossible. I mean, you can look at the 49ers. They're elite at every position but quarterback, and they are probably going to make the NFC Championship game, I believe, but they won't beat the Eagles. I don't believe, and the Cowboys stunk it up today, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll leave the Cowboys to Wednesday when Mike is on.
Yeah, we'll leave the Cowboys alone. Speaking of Mike, did you see the video? Did you see the video of Mike at the brawl?
Yeah, I saw that. He was taking bets on the side, so he take bets on the side. But what was one of your takeaways for the from today? I know we still got one game going on right now. 6-3, I believe. Packers are up right now.
Yeah. One of my takeaways from the day would be the Bills, how they showed character, how they fought hard today. The Patriots, they're not the same Patriots, but they it's still a division game. They're playing with a heavy heart. With everybody know what happened with a teammate. They showed a lot of passion today, and that I enjoy to watch a team that likes that fights, that competes, and the Bills competed today. And also just looking at the Dolphins, they squeaked one out, and that Eagles-Giants game was better than I thought it was going to be. The Eagles getting first place is big for them. Jalen can get more healthy. And then on yesterday, the Jaguar game, that it was electric in Jacksonville. I mean, it was electric. I mean, the offense stunk it up, but I mean, it was an electric game. It really was.
I'm gonna give you my hot take in just a moment, but I'm gonna circle back to the Buffalo game. It was 3 years and 3 months since the last time they had a kickoff return for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Damir Hamlin's number is number 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
And think if you think about it too, I know we're going off. I've got another hot take. That game should have been tonight's game. The game that should be on right now. That game should have been tonight's game. Because if the Patriots would have won, they would have been in. If the Bills win, they'll have an AFC Championship game probably in Las Vegas. Me personally, geographically, I'll put that game in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Dome. That's where I would have that game at.
Yeah,
geographically,
I think it'll be open. It'll be available, I believe.
It was available at about 4:15 today. it was actually available since the Falcons lost the Super Bowl. That's how long it's been available.
Yeah, since the Celebration Bowl, the end of December, it's been available.
Yeah, I told you, it's been available since August. Been available since August.
Preseason game, right?
Preseason games, yeah.
I'm a Falcon fan. Yeah.
I don't know how y'all Falcon fan, man. I
was born in Georgia, man. I was born in Thomasville.
Never mind.
No, I was born in Thomasville. I'm from Georgia.
But that game, Patriots up. They of course we didn't. Hines ran the opening kickoff off 96 yards. Then the second half, when Patriots took the lead 17-14, kicked it off again. He ran another one back.
Yeah,
so that really put the game away to me emotionally for the Patriots because you gave up. And that's one thing folks don't realize. Bill Belichick was great great special team coach when he started out, and you gave up 2 kickoffs for a touchdown in the same game. I never seen him give off one in a season.
And it's new NFL. It's hard to return a kick.
Yeah, it's real hard. And then your old special teams coach is on your offensive staff, Joe Judge.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, but I look at it like this: the 49ers look scary. They've won 10 straight. The last time they lost when they played the Chiefs, and the Chiefs drubbed them. That's probably the only team that could probably beat the 49ers. If I'm looking at the AFC, that's the only team that could do it.
Did you see the Chiefs with the ring around the rosy with the carousel?
Man, they're playing with their food.
TV out.
They're playing with their food, man. They're playing with their food. I'm like, I mean, I know Wednesday we'll talk about Black Friday, but we do what you hear now. Right now, we have a minimum 3 openings right now with Indianapolis, Carolina, and I'm missing one. Am I missing one?
The Broncos, Indianapolis,
Broncos. Yeah, those three spots are open right now for.
What was the other one? I missed it.
Broncos, Colts, and the Carolina. Those are 3 definite openings right now. I think I'm gonna say this too. I think Jeff Saturday was hired so the Colts could go ahead and just tank the rest of the season. I don't think it was just to get their boy onto the coaching staff. I think he was hired. Well, that too, but I think he was hired to tank the rest of the year. And I want to bring him back because if I bring him back as a head coach, I would not want to be an assistant under him.
Oh, also, I read reports that the Rams coach, he may step down. He needs to take some time away from the team to McKay. Is his name McKay? Is it
Sean McVay?
McVay. I'm from country. McVay. He's thinking about taking some time, thinking about maybe stepping away and going behind, going into TV. From what I read, he was, just got married. His wife's from the Ukraine, so there's been a lot of stress in his house. So he's gonna take some time off. But the Rams really shocked me. I think I might have picked the Rams win a Super Bowl this year. And the Rams what were they, 5-12? And they don't get their draft pick. They
don't get the draft pick this year or next year. I believe they don't get their 2nd or 3rd round pick this year or next year. So you can't even rebuild because you have no draft capital. And the reason why you signed Baker Mayfield when you claim them off waivers, if somebody signs him, you get a compensatory 3rd-round pick in this year's draft.
Nobody can sign Baker.
So they don't sign him, they screwed out of a pick. The only it's gonna sound blasphemous. You literally don't have to blow that team up. And Sean
The
McVay,
Rams, oh yeah.
and Sean McVay said, I don't want to do a rebuild. I'm like, dude, you're 37 years old. You could do a rebuild. You won a Super Bowl. You got 3. They're gonna give you 3 extra years. They're gonna give you 3 extra years, like Brian Billett when he was coaching the Ravens.
Oh,
No,
Ravens, Ravens, yeah, Ravens.
Yeah, after a couple years after his last winning season, they gave him 3 extra years. So you win the Super Bowl, unless you do something stupid, you're gonna get a couple years. Of course, unless you Jim Johnson, but you know.
Who gets the first pick? The Bears or
the Bears get the first pick because the Texans won.
That's stupid.
Yeah, that's dumb. They won it with 50 seconds left of the game. They get the number 2 pick, but the Bears, they're in a good spot, so they can build. They're gonna trade that pick.
Yeah.
Unless you get Jalen Carter or Will Anderson.
I mean, but you can trade that pick and get them at 2 or 3. You know, easily.
Yeah.
Either one of those. Yeah. So
if I'm the Texans, I'm getting on. Well, I would Texans. To be honest with you, they're in a good spot too. If they could catch somebody in free agency, Lamar Jackson,
get him a ban. Yeah. Texans have no state tax, right?
None whatsoever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ravens messed it up.
Yeah, they should have. They should have paid him. They should have paid him. What they're going to say is, now you were hurt. You know, you're not available. Like, yeah, but what's your record without me though?
Exactly. What it was like under 500 without him.
I think this year they're 1-5 without him. Last year they were 0-4 without him. I mean, you should have paid him. But then that's probably the reason why they said they didn't want to pay him. So what's going to happen is they're going to franchise him. He probably doesn't want to come back to Baltimore, and I wouldn't come back. I would not come back to Baltimore if I was him. I would walk out the door. I'd go to Pittsburgh. I'd go right in the division. Pittsburgh or Houston. Those are 2 teams. I mean, I'll see what Houston does in free agency over the next year. But anywhere he go, he's going to be he's going to bring instant credibility. He's going to be a winner. He's going to. I mean, imagine him in
San Francisco. Nice team. Oh, San Francisco. That'd be ridiculous. That'd be ridiculous.
Because we don't know what Trey Lance is going to do because he's coming off an injury. So he's already a year behind where he should be at. Brock Purdy, are you going to trust him in year 2 or year 3? Is this a Brady reincarnation with Brock Purdy? We won't know, but
I think, Fabian, you got to say Trey Lance is 2 years behind because he only played like 1 game of his junior year in college because there was in COVID, and then he pretty much had an NFL redshirt year. He got hurt this year, so I mean, that's a lot not playing football. I remember Pete Carroll used to argue about Mark Sanchez should have came back for a senior year at USC because he only played 1 year at USC. So I mean, getting reps at quarterback, seeing ball, seeing different things helps quarterbacks more than anybody. He hasn't seen much football, and then the team that he was on in college, I mean, those guys are good every year. I mean, they're like Alabama of D1AA or FCS, what you want to call it now. So it's like he never got touched. He never had too much pressure. Watch a couple of his games. I mean, it was like as we say, little children against grown men. So yeah, I'm not saying he's not good, but he needs some more reps. He needs some more reps.
Yeah, Dwayne Haskins also. I mean, the late Dwayne Haskins.
Mm-hmm.
He if he'd have stayed 1 more year, I think he would have been in a better spot. But we'll never know. We'll never know what he could have did in Pittsburgh. He could have been. He actually should have been the starter this year if he wouldn't have died.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think anything else besides the Eagles locked. We already said the Eagles locked on the number 1 seed. Lane Johnson gets another week of getting healthy. So because he has a torn muscle in his abdomen, so he's gonna get surgery in the offseason. So he's gonna try to fight through that. So he's gonna have some Toradol and some type of numbing agent injected in that area each week. So we'll see
Mhm.
how much of a pain threshold he can handle with that. Also,
Is the NFC South the worst division you've ever seen? Ever?
this year, yes. And remember, the Panthers actually won the division with the losing record, and they won a playoff game. And I think the reason why it's terrible. Think about it: injuries, especially to the Buccaneers when they lost pretty much their whole offensive line before the season started.
Mm-hmm.
You signed Julio Jones, which is a walking injury. I thought they were gonna use him like third down situations, maybe red zone. The pulls away from what Gronk left with Gronk. You actually try to use him as a receiver to buy some time for Chris Godwin, who came on like gangbusters in the last couple weeks. And really, we look at injuries for the Saints and for the Saints and for the Bucks. You look at the Carolina Panthers, you just had inept coaching with Matt Rule.
Yeah, he's over there.
And you signed him, you did a stupid thing, signed him to a 7-year contract, and you owe him 4 more years on his contract. And there's an article that came out a couple weeks ago from ESPN, from a memo to coaches from the league to the owners. I mean, stating that look at all this money you're paying out in dead money to coaches. So you're firing coaches after 2 years on 4 or 5 year contracts. You're spending dead money on paying these coaches you fired and paying a new coach and their staff, which goes back to the 90s, where you have, let's say back in the day, you probably remember this, like when you draft a quarterback like Steve McNair, he sit his first 2-3 years, and that coach will get 4 or 5 years with that player.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But of course, there was no slotted cap for players back then. You could pay them whatever you want to pay. That's why you had long holdouts for players like that.
Jamarcus Russell.
Thank you. With those instances, so that's the reason you can't look at it that way. It's a popcorn league. It's a right now society, microwave society, and we want our stuff right now. And so it's going to take time. Even though like Lamar Jackson came in first year, won 6 straight games, took it to the playoffs. Second year went 14-2, won MVP. Then his third year, he finally won a playoff game for it. Last year, they was number one in the AFC until he got hurt, and they just went out of the playoffs. This year, they was third in the AFC when he was quarterback, got hurt. Barely in the playoff, but not barely. They made it in, but they dropped down to the 6th seed, and the Chargers went up to the 5 seed. So, we don't know.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. I know we're talking about the playoffs, but I just glanced at the draft order while you was talking. I didn't know the Eagles got the 10th pick from New Orleans from the Saints, and the Lions gonna have the 6th pick, and the Seahawks gonna have the 5th. These are playoff teams. Well, Lions maybe not, Seahawks maybe not, but they're like, at the cusp of making the playoffs. These teams can really turn their franchises around, with these high draft picks by trading them or picking the right player.
And look at Geno Smith also. He's my pick to be comeback player of the year.
I like Geno.
And think about Seattle's notorious for not having an offensive line. You could actually drive offensive line, you drive defense, you could do a couple of different things with your team now. So with that 5th, 6th pick, if Will Anderson somehow is still on that board, because Jalen Carter's gonna be gone by no later than pick 2. Now, if I'm Seattle, do I want to get CJ Stroud or Will Levis from Kentucky? I mean, my picking is in the middle, so I could probably wait on Will Levis, or I could wait on Hendon Hooker in maybe the fourth round because of his torn ACL and let him sit a year. I'm just am I crazy thinking that?
Do the Lions need a quarterback?
No, the Lions don't need a quarterback. They're good. The Lions
are good. Seahawks need a quarterback.
I think Geno probably give you a couple more years because he's 10 years in.
I like Geno.
You probably need somebody to drive behind him, but I mean,
but not in the first round.
Not in the first round. I wait on Hendon Hooker, to be honest with you. I could let him redshirt a year, get healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's an option. Hendon Hooker, Will Levis, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young. Those are the four. Those are the four names I'm thinking about right now if I'm drafting. I can't think of anybody else. Caleb Williams not available to next year's draft, so him and that's the main one I'm thinking about right now. So the kid from Miami got 2 more years before he's eligible. So I think he got one.
You know, he got benched though. Van Dyke.
That's
Yeah, he got benched. Then you know, UNC's quarterback probably the first pick. Well, not Caleb Williams is, but it'll be him and Caleb Williams next year. Drake May, him and Caleb gonna be the quarterbacks next year. But it's tricky picking these quarterbacks, man, because like they can either make or break your franchise. Like Big Trev, he turned it around. He looked good this year for the Jaguars. I mean, he turned it around.
It's amazing.
Urban Meyer is
it's trash.
He's trash.
It's amazing. It's amazing what a coach can do for your confidence.
Exactly.
And think about who Doug Peterson had as quarterbacks. He had Carson Wentz, had Nick Foles, he had Jalen Hurts for a brief time, and you got Lawrence.
Yeah, big trail.
Big trail.
Mm-hmm. So
you got those 4 quarterbacks he's had, and he played the position, so he's gonna be pretty knowledgeable of that position as a coach. Corey Green, what's the deal, bro? What's the deal? What's the dealio? Corey Green in the house. CG from the 704 or 706. From the 706. 706. Columbus, yep. Seatown. His town.
He didn't go to Shaw, did he?
No, he went to Fort Valley State.
I'm talking about for high school. He didn't go to Shaw.
No, I think he went to Carver, I think.
I don't like them either. They beat us in the playoffs championship game one time. I don't like Shaw or Carver.
Corey, you went to Carver, right? He'll answer in a second. Yeah, he went to Carver.
Yeah, I don't like Mr. Green. I don't like your alumni. They beat us in Cairo a couple years ago for a state championship in football. Never got over it.
What's Cairo? 2A?
No, man, we 4A, man. Big school,
4A?
man. Yeah, we big school down in Cairo, man. You know,
What, you got about 1,200 enrolled in high school?
probably about that 1,000. You know, we got a large Hispanic community down here in Grady County.
Right by the line, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Guatemalans.
Yeah.
A lot of Guatemalans.
He also said beat y'all in 2007 also.
Who now?
He said they say Carver beat Cairo in 2007 also.
We talking about NFL. We're not doing that today. Not doing that today. But yeah, man, the Dolphins snuck in. They won
11-6.
They gotta go to New York to get blown out.
No, they played. They played them tough in Buffalo. They should have actually won that game.
But Tua's not playing, probably.
Probably not, which means they're gonna get their head busted wide open.
Yeah, that Chargers Jaguar game is gonna be interesting.
There's gonna be some fireworks in that game. There's gonna be some fireworks.
Yeah, a lot of hitting in that game.
Justin Herbert gonna tear that defense up.
Yeah, Jaguars, man. You know, it's tough playing in Jacksonville at night, man. It's a strange place. But
yeah, we won't know the games until tomorrow. I think NFL's gonna announce all that tomorrow. I don't know where Ryan's at, but he'll be here. But 89 is garbage. Yeah, but I mean, 89 is garbage. It is 89. No, Jacksonville's 9-8. Corey, Jacksonville 9-8. Well, before we get into our movie review, I'm gonna ask this one question. You already said at the top of the show, I like to get people fired. Is it time for Mike Vrabel to go?
No, man, he lost his quarterbacks, man. No. I like Mike. I like Mike. You know, he needs to maybe fire a coordinator or two or figure something out. I wouldn't fire Mike Vrabel right now. I mean, they played hard last night. They couldn't block those guys. Mike Vrabel's defense is tough. Derrick Henry is a phenom, and they could have won that game with Joshua Dobbs. It just was on the street 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
Detroit
Joshua
practice
Dobbs.
squad.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm not into firing coaches. I say give them another year, give them another chance. That's what I always say. But there's some coaches need to be fired, but not him.
All right, so fine. We'll give him one more year, but let's keep in mind Matt LaFleur and Arthur Smith came off his staff and got head coaching job.
Yeah.
Will
I say fire the billionaire coach first. You want to fire somebody.
Which billionaire coach? Which about Jerry Jones?
In Atlanta.
Oh, you talking about Arthur Smith?
Yeah.
He ain't had a quarterback, man. To be fair, you saying the same thing.
He had Matt Ryan. He a Hall of Famer.
You could have had Deshaun Watson. They should have had Deshaun Watson. He could have won as many massage parlors he wanted to.
I guess the parlors are better in Ohio. I don't know.
Okay, last thing before we get to trading places. What coaches you will see fired tomorrow on Black Monday?
I got you. Hold on. Pull out. Hold on 1 second.
While we're holding on, this show is brought to you by Lord Calvert Canadian whiskey. If you need something to take the load off after a long day of work, Lord Calvert Canadian whiskey. It is a dog liquor.
Number one on my list is always Cliff Kingsbury. That's how you say his name?
Cliff Kingsbury.
Kingsbury. It's time for him to go. I hope they don't fire Lovey, but
he lost less games than David Culley did last year, man. You got no choice but you got to give him one more year. Yeah, Mario said Lovey Smith, but dang, dog. That's two black coaches got fired. Y'all put them in position where they can't win, which means you're setting them up for failure, which means they're going to bring somebody in like, I don't know, Jim Harbaugh maybe. Because keep in mind,
Harbaugh in trouble.
And Michigan.
Yeah, he in trouble.
How you got violation? They got NIL. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It happened during the COVID year. There was hosting recruits during the COVID year. You can't do that. That's the same thing that Arizona State coach did, the black coach. Hugh Jackson. Not Hugh Jackson. What's his name? He used to play for the Jets. He used to coach the Jets. Oh my God.
Todd Bowles?
No.
Herm Edwards.
Herm Edwards. Yeah, same thing. Herm Edwards got fired about. You couldn't host recruits during COVID. You could only do like a virtual FaceTime thing, but they was sending defensive analysts out there to show the kids around.
We got Big Straw on. Big Straw, what the deal is?
What's going on, gentlemen? Hope all is well.
Hey, Anatole, we're gonna circle right back to the coaching thing on the hot seat. Ryan, we know you're a Pittsburgh fan. 15 straight years of winning football for Mike Tomlin. Go.
Yeah, you got to take your hat off. Ain't nobody else doing that except for probably Belichick. So
he had a losing season that COVID year.
You say what now?
He had a losing season that COVID year.
Okay, so it's rare air. So you got to give him his due. The thing that what we want though is we like the winning, but let's take that next step like we've been taking. I know we had to revamp some things, lost some key players. He was left a Super Bowl team when he won the Super Bowl, but let's and he's been to two. Let's not get it twisted. He's been to two. But yeah, let's get back to let's go for 7. We've been trying to get to 7 for a minute. Let's go on to get to 7. But yeah, hats off to Mike Tomlin. When they was 2-6, everybody said they were dead in the water. We were trying to figure out if we were gonna get the first draft pick. But He pulled him one out this year, and I'll give him that. I'll give him that. They played phenomenal football at the end of the year. Phenomenal football. I mean, T.J. Watt comes back, and it seemed like everything just clicked, and the coaching was there. I love Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett is doing his thing. So hats off to that coaching, man. And you know who job it probably saved? Matt Canada. Probably saved his job for Kenny Pickett to play as well as he did later in the year. So hats off to that entire organization.
Yeah, last week when they had that game-winning drive against the Ravens, Matt Canada had went to the restroom, left out, and Kenny Pickett just ran off as that last minute and a half.
Say it again, please, sir. I don't believe. Say it again, please.
Matt Canada was not in the coach's box when that last drive happened. That's a rumor what I heard.
Well, I mean, you know, let's go back 2 weeks ago on Christmas Eve when he did the same thing and hit former Georgia Bulldog George Pickens right in the hands on the slant in the end zone, butt naked. So it is what it is. And yeah, Mario, they should have started on day one, but you had to give the veteran a shot to see if the rumors were rumors, if it was hyperbole, as they say, if it was hyperbole, if it was, you know, one of those things that, you know, what my boy on what my boy Matthew McConaughey say in Wolf of Wall Street, see if it was Fugazi, but he was who he was. Yeah. Mr. Trubisky was who he was. But it's you know, great find. The only quarterback taken in the first round. Only quarterback taken. So there it is.
So yeah, I would bring it up with Anto. I think a lot of the issues with Pittsburgh this year was offensive line issues, to be honest with you. The defense was there. The offensive line has been a problem since the COVID year when they started off 11-0. Yeah,
it's always been that year. It's always been that for the past 2 seasons. And kind of piecemealed it together, got better towards the end of the year this year. And actually, I mean, last year, we forget, last year they went to the playoffs. They got put out in the first round. They went to the playoffs last year with that piecemeal line. So, I mean, next year, I really see them finding some solutions for that, man. We need some solid veterans, some guys that's been in the league more than 5 years or so to play them positions and knows the scheme a little better. So it's coming. It ain't what we want, but it's coming. But you don't start off the way you started off and expect to you all and back into the playoffs all the time. So it's one of them things. I'm happy he had a chance to do what he had to do.
All right, we'll go
real quick. Just a real quick question. What did the Bears see to draft Mitchell Trubisky before Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson? I mean, who was the scout that said, this is my guy, I got to have him, before Deshaun Watson, who took Clemson to 3 BCS playoff appearances, and then Patrick Mahomes, who was just like a phenom? What did you see?
Right, that's Ryan Gase and John Fox. That's their fault. They had cataracts. But because that was the coaching staff that drafted him, and then that first year they fired John Fox and then brought in Matt Nagy. Of course, Matt Nagy went 12-4 with Trubisky. Trubisky took them to the playoffs 2 times in 4 years. So
his decision making is never, that has been his thing with Trubisky.
He started 1 season at Carolina.
His decision making. And I saw in the game, okay, so Kenny Pickett gets put out with a concussion. Trubisky comes in and proceeds to throw 3 of the worst interceptions I have ever seen since Neil O'Donnell throwing to Larry Brown in the Super Bowl. So I'm just
those bad. Those bad.
Yeah,
he got Larry Brown paid. He got Larry Brown paid for that.
You didn't get nothing else from him. Larry Brown get paid, go to Tampa.
Yeah.
Larry who?
I thought he went to the Raiders, but yeah, he got paid.
No, I thought he went to Tampa.
He went to Tampa. If I'm not mistaken, he went to Tampa. I may be wrong,
paid.
But he got paid. He ended up. Yeah. Man, Dion was on that team. Was on that same team.
Yeah, he was on the same team. He went to the Raiders, then went to the Vikings, and then went
Okay.
to the Cowboys.
Okay. He went to the Raiders. I know he went somewhere and got paid, overly paid.
5 years, $12.5 million with the 3.5 guaranteed.
By those standards in those days, that was good. But I mean, by today's standards, that's a
discount. That's a discount.
Yeah.
He was the MVP, I believe, the Super Bowl, right?
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
Kind of remind me of the same thing like with Warren Sapp when he won. When I think it was Derrick Brooks won the Super Bowl MVP that year. They drove the Raiders, but went to the Raiders literally that next year. So, and then he didn't really do anything with the Raiders. Didn't do nothing. Well,
Nah, he was winding it on down there.
Yeah. Before we get on the trading places, give me one coach that you know gonna get fired tomorrow, Ryan.
Ooh-wee. You besides Jeff Saturday?
Besides Jeff Saturday, I don't think he should be fired. We'll say that much.
Oh my goodness, it's a good one. Oh man, I didn't think about this. Tomorrow is Black Monday.
Tomorrow, Black Monday.
I'm thinking. Goodness gracious. Man, Jeff Saturday is the only one I can think of right off the bat because I mean everybody else they there, but they ain't there. Man, give me one favor because I can't think of that. I can't believe it.
Bill Belichick. You think Bill Belichick will get fired?
Bill Belichick ain't going nowhere. He brought them folks all them rings. They ain't going nowhere.
What about the Browns coach?
Kevin Stefanski.
Maybe.
Robert Saleh.
From the Jets?
Yeah.
No.
Ron Rivera.
Yes.
From
he may be gone.
To the Commanders.
From
Rivera?
Yeah. Can't say he didn't have a quarterback because he chose his quarterback. So
you know what? I can say that, but see, he played okay. So when Chase Young was healthy, that's a different team. I really think he gives them a better dynamic when he is fully healthy and can actually affect the game. I could see it, but I would be kind of disappointed. I'd be like, man, with everything else going on in Washington, why don't you just get a little stability with him? And then if he doesn't do it next year, then let him go.
Yeah, they're a top 5 defense without with Chase Young. So they're a top 5 defense without him.
I don't. I can see it, but I cringe on that one because somebody gonna get them a halfway decent defensive mind and a decent head coach. Because this is the same Ron Rivera that led Carolina to the Super Bowl with Cam Newton. So I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Josh McDaniels, Anatole.
Oh
yeah. I said the Raiders going to playoffs. Raiders traded then they signed my boy Adams. They gave him big money.
Yeah.
My boy Adams gave my boy Adams big money. And yeah, he got to go. But Josh McDaniels is like he can't do nothing but like be an OC. Like he can't. He's not an NFL coach.
No, he can't be. He can only be an OC with Tom Brady. Remember, he was the offensive coordinator with the Rams for a couple of years, got fired, and then the Patriots hired him right after he got fired. So
Josh McDaniels to Tampa Bay. I just called it.
All right. What about no, it's not gonna be what's gonna call it. It's not gonna be Todd Bowles. He just won the division, even though they went 8-9. And Bruce Arians not gonna let him get fired. Arthur Smith.
Who are you coaching?
The Falcons.
The Falcons. His dad a billionaire.
How many years he been on the job?
He just finished his second season.
Oh, second. Okay.
Ooh-wee. What were the Falcons' records? They was 7-5-12,
6-11, something like that.
It was 7-10, man.
Yeah, they're bad.
They was in the hunt for the division for a quick minute before they made a quarterback change, right?
I mean, the whole
Yeah.
division was 7-10. Except for Tampa Bay, they were 8-9.
I think they'll keep him because they think they're on the way to a breakthrough.
Breakthrough what? Keep on losing?
Something. Give them something. I think that they had some good moments. They had some good moments. Well, I mean, shoot, I mean, you already fired Matt Rule. Matt Rule already gone. So
And 17.
you know, that's another opening. So I think they're gonna try to stay. They're not gonna try to fire two. I don't know. I'm on the fence with that one. I say 50-50 on that one.
Clint Kingsbury.
He needs to be fired.
Okay. Everybody else is set. I would think Dennis Allen from the Saints.
He needs time.
This is first year, right?
He need a quarterback.
Yeah, he needs a real quarterback.
Lamar Jackson.
That could be. Because I'm hearing he may not be back for the first round. So
Yeah, I think the Baltimore Ravens need to go ahead and just I would trade Lamar to the Texans. I'll put him on that franchise and say, Texans, hey, let me get the number 2 pick. I'll give you Lamar Jackson.
Mm.
And you give me your next year first.
he had to do a lot of running with the Texans.
No, you got Laramie Tunsil. He's the best left tackle in the league next to old boy Penny Sewell in Detroit.
He got
They got a good running back too.
Yeah.
Texans got a real good running back, that rookie from Florida.
And get it with Detroit. I'm paying attention to the game too much because I really don't care about the game tonight because it should have been the Patriots and the Bills. To be honest with you, that should have been the game tonight. But Jared Goff haven't turned the ball over in 8 games. Like I said, I'm not keeping with the stats tonight. He might have thrown a pick tonight, but he hasn't thrown a pick in 8 games, man. 8 games. But y'all traded him. Gave up 3-year picks for Matt Stafford, who barely played in 8 games this year.
Well, I mean, so the thing with that, we talked about this. I'm sure we talked about this once before. That was instant reward right there. Matt Stafford comes in, big arm, you got receivers, and you throw in the Cooper Kupp, who had a big year. That was instant gratification, and now everything is kind of settled on. You get Stafford. Later in the year, the Rams go get OBJ. And then all of a sudden, hey, we moving and grooving. You already had, on the other side of the ball, you already had one of the best defenses in the league, and you go get Von Miller to add to that. So it was set up for them to win. All the eggs was in that basket. Now, if you kind of fleeced the Rams at that time, because if you think about it, Jared Goff was like questionable. Was he the man? Was he the guy? So, man, I mean, right now, this is almost like this is the resurgence they were hoping for last year with him that he's coming trying to get the back to now. This is what they were hoping they were going to get last year in Detroit.
We don't talk ill will about Mr. Matthew Stafford on this show. So.
I apologize, Seven. I apologize.
Yeah, that's our quarterback, right? That's
Yeah. We need your good vibes tomorrow, Seven. Good vibes tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll be on the sideline with the rest of the team. We're not talking about college tonight, but Stafford is our quarterback. That's our guy.
I told y'all my score for the game on tomorrow.
You did. It was, what did you say, 50-20 or something?
50-17, Georgia.
I got 44-28, Georgia. 44-28, Georgia. Yeah.
35-20. Good guys.
So we know we're gonna talk about Wednesday. I'm gonna keep it short because we're gonna be talking about a lot of NFL to talk about. But we'll see if Georgia pulls off the first time in the CFP history their team goes back to back. Last team to do it was Bama, but it was in the BCS. All right, this is what y'all been waiting for, y'all. The few viewers that we got, but this is what y'all been waiting for. This is what y'all been waiting for right here.
You see my name, Faye. You see my name on the show.
Merry New Year!
Merry New Year!
Kabuya, 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 kabuya. I watched 10 minutes of the movie. I'm like, okay, I remember the whole movie now. I remember.
Yeah, I watched it before. When you hit me, I watched it. I watched it today.
Man, I want to be honest with you. I watched that movie so much, man, to the point where I don't have to watch it. It's just so much in that movie. That is a great. This is one of the hidden gems. Well, no, it's not. It's not a hidden gem. People watched it in the 80s. It was one of them movies back in the day. Remember when the movie used to come on throughout the week? They would have a movie to come on like on the NBC Wednesday night movie or the ABC Thursday night movie. It was one of them movies that would come on. They would edit the hell out of it. Don't get it twisted.
Oh yeah,
man.
First time seeing boobs on TV was that movie.
All right, we'll start. We'll go around the horn. What was your favorite scene out of the whole movie, or most rewatchable scene?
Go ahead, Ryan.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I forget which part of the 80s this was in, but Jamie Lee Curtis.
It was 83, 84, I think.
83.
Hey, man, when you think about Jamie Lee Curtis, and I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is not cheap. For them, for the 80s, you know, that was a different time. Let's get it right. But her body, bro. Her body? Oh, my goodness. She just felt so sorry for Louis. She just felt so sorry for Louis.
Yeah, she.
I'm trying to be. I don't want us to lose no
I think
spot.
she won an Oscar too. I think she won an Oscar for it.
Man, woo. That one, but okay, that's one. I got to get a 1B. I get a 1B, so we don't lose no sponsors here. The jail scene.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, the jail scene. So you know when he's in jail. And what makes it so bad, it reminds me, and Chris Tucker ought to be ashamed of himself for stealing that, because he stole it in Money Talks. But that whole thing, you know, that whole man, that is hilarious.
Karate Man.
Yeah,
a bruise on the inside.
Man,
it's crazy.
What about you, Anto?
My favorite scene was a jailhouse scene, but I'm gonna say my second favorite scene was when it was on the train, when boy busts out there, Merry New Year. I mean, that was like the funniest thing to this day. That's what I say every New Year to everybody.
Yes.
I say Merry New Year. I don't say Happy New Year to nobody. They was like, what you talking about? Merry New Year. I said to everybody. That's the funniest part, other than the jailhouse scene, because the jailhouse scene is like ridiculous. But then, like, you know, this movie, when I watched the movie, and I watched it when I was younger, I watched it today a little bit, and it's very like, you know, you see what's going on with like the culture and everything about, you know, you put a poor kid in a rich environment, you put a rich man in a poor environment, and you see even like Billy Ray, Eddie Murphy's first, like when he leave the bar and go to his house, he's like, hey, y'all messing up my rug, y'all messing up my house, get out my house. You know, he was changing in front of us, and that was like first night out. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, it's culturally, I mean, it was I guess we didn't see it when we was younger, but when I watched that, I was like, man, it's a pretty deep movie, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny, but it was also very deep.
Yeah, you can say the same thing for Brewster's Million, which will be a movie we will review on here. I will definitely have to rewatch that one again because it's just so much nuance in that movie right there. And
that movie, yeah, we have to talk about that one next week, Faye, because I want to watch that one again. I love these are two movies, both of them, Brewster's Millions and Trading Places. Those are two iconic for those two. For Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor, those are two iconic movies. I mean, now don't get me wrong, they got a litany of them, but during that time, that was good, man. That was good writing. That was good writing. Good ideas. Both of those are really good, and it's pretty much the same. It's kind of the same movie if you think about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're looking at something similar, only one was an inheritance, one was just a scientific experimentation, just to mess with somebody's life.
Yeah, I wish they mess with my life.
Now, my most rewatchable scene, of course, the jail scene was hilarious. I mean, that was hilarious. this is a changing part of the movie that let me know that with Brenda character name of Coleman, he had more respect for Billy Ray Valentine than he did have for Dan Aykroyd character. When they had the party, he kicked them all out, and he was telling her like, "Nah, man, you just can't mess up this stuff like this. Nah, man, I appreciate you, thank you." And you never heard Louis say thank you to Coleman at all.
Right.
And that's why. Go ahead, Ryan.
Now, especially in the very, so you know, it opens up and everything, and he's getting his stuff ready and everything, and he's getting he told him, he fixed the man breakfast. He said, "Oh, I don't have a time," and runs out the door. And the man throws the food away. Or was that dinner? It was either
dinner. That was dinner.
Yeah, that was when him and Penelope getting together.
Yeah,
and throws the food away. Didn't say, "Hey, man, thank you." And see, that's the thing about that character, is that Billy Ray's character was so down to earth. And like, yeah, I got this, I got that. But then, like Anatoly was saying, kind of leveled off. He was like, "Wait a minute, I got all this nice stuff. Oh, yeah, y'all ain't finna come in here and mess with it." And that's what Coleman was like, But he talked, and if you notice, when everything was switching back, and he told him what the experiment was, he actually he got more respect for Coleman at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Aykroyd's character, Louis.
Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing, Coleman was on it, but I think he wanted him to be in on it because he hated Louis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now the person that played Coleman is Denholm Elliott. Of course, if you watched any of the Indiana Jones movies, he was Marcus from the movies.
Okay. Yeah. I remember him. Yep.
That was his homeboy.
Yep. Of course, Last Crusade. That was his last movie because he died of AIDS, and right after the movie came out, he died of AIDS in '92, I believe. Of course,
what now?
Huh?
Of what?
Of AIDS. He died of AIDS.
Oh, wow.
Acquired immune deficiency syndrome.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, of course,
wow,
these two.
Boy.
Yeah. Ralph Bellamy and Don Ameche. Those are two great actors over time. Don Ameche, of course, I believe was in Cocoon. I want to say he was in Cocoon. I want to say. Somebody correct me online if I'm wrong.
Cocoon.
But of course, Cocoon.
Right.
But you'll notice those two same characters about 5 years later, they make an appearance in another movie, A Black Culture.
Okay, so how did they get from Philadelphia to New York? That's what I want to know. You tell me that.
Remember, they was in New York for the stock exchange at the end of the
year. That's right.
That's my cousin right there. You know what? Know around me and Fabian fuss all day, but that's my cousin right there. That's my guy.
So they were in New York when Don Ameche character Mortimer had the heart attack because he was so pissed about the orange juice shares, and he had a heart attack, and they had to pay up over $300 million, which they didn't have.
Right.
And of course their seats had to be sold or whatever, and then of course they stayed in New York for a few years on the streets, and then of course not Billy Ray Valentine, which they should have saw this was a variant. I'm sorry. I'm getting Marvel. There was a variant. That was his variant from Trading Places. Gave him $10,000. We're back. And then, if you've seen Coming to America, the sequel, you saw that Colin Jost's character is their grandson, I believe, as a relative of theirs that's picking up the same business. So, but that's neither here nor there. But that scene, the train scene, where they're matter of fact, when Jim Belushi character and the gorilla.
Oh yeah.
And they put him in Jim Belushi's gorilla suit. And
Beaks.
Good old Beak, Clarence Beaks. They get him on the ship like 1 gorilla, 2 gorilla. What does it matter? They're going to South Africa. They're going to Africa, and they're gonna be in the cage alone. And Glare Beaks, I was so big.
Man. No, but okay. So that part, but the other part that about the brothers, when they was on the exchange floor, and the other one is having a heart attack, and he's like, Mortimer, your brother's having a heart attack. Help him.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, it's like, man, that part is hilarious too, because you just like you look at it like, oh, all this, and when you look at it when you're younger, all this over orange juice.
Orange juice. I mean, they paid Clarence Beeks $100,000 at minimum. That's just the checks we saw, because we just saw 2 checks. Of course, I'm guessing it's every 2 weeks. So imagine him being paid $100,000 a month for 12 months. He made $1 million, or this could have just been just to get those projections.
Yeah,
Get those projections. So that
right. He was in on the rules too, though. He was in on the rules too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So literally, he got fucked too, twice. Twice.
Oh,
Well, this one of the classic movie. I go down the line with some of these cast members. Of course, we know Eddie Murphy. Everybody knows Eddie Murphy. We talked about Denholm Elliott, Ralph Bellamy, and Don Amici. Since nobody gonna look it up and told me if I'm right or not on Cocoon, I guess I'll look it up myself. I was right. Cocoon. Of course, Trading Places. Let me
gotta have a cameo for Coming to America in there.
Coming to America, made their cameo. Coming to America. It's still refreshing. Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey. That's 1993.
Wow, you made me want to watch that one now, because I'm trying to figure. He must have been the granddad in that one.
I believe so. He's the voice of Shadow. He actually was the voice of Shadow.
Oh, okay. That's
Kevin-
That's a good movie. That's a good family movie if you ever get a chance to watch it.
Heaven Can Wait. Let's see what else. Here's the movie. One of the worst. I like this movie. It's one of the worst movies for Sylvester Stallone ever did. Oscar.
I know what you're talking about, but I've never watched it.
Just go ahead and watch it. It's decent. It's a good watch if you got an hour and a half to kill.
Oh, okay.
He was on. He did Fantasy. He did one episode of Fantasy Island and Quincy. But his IMDb is longer than is long. Harlem Nights, Uncle Buck. He wasn't an Uncle Buck to Ricky. Don Amici wasn't in that. If he was, I'm shocked. I need to rewatch that again.
Uncle Buck?
No, he wasn't an Uncle Buck. That's a classic movie right there too. Harlem Nights. I don't think Don Amici wasn't in Harlem Nights. I'm looking at his IMDb now. Yeah, he wasn't in those two.
Okay.
But if you talk about movies you want us to review, we can't. I think we did Harlem Nights already.
We did
Harlem Nights.
We did that one.
Uncle Buck, we could definitely do. We definitely need to Come to America. I could do that off memory right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you talking about Richard Pryor?
Life.
Toy.
Life.
Do Life. I can do Life off of memory. I seen it once. So I can do it off memory. You want to eat your cornbread?
Hey, Faye, I saw Life at South Lake Mall at AMC when I was going to Morris Brown. That's how old I am.
Yeah, I saw that joke in '99 when it came out.
When it came out, yep, I saw it too. That is still to me a beautiful. That is the last beautiful comedic movie of Eddie Murphy, in my opinion. The last beautiful comedy. That's the old Eddie Murphy right there, in my opinion.
Now I want to see how much Trading Places actually made $120 million worldwide.
I looked at some things about Trading Places today. It was one of the highest grossing movies of the year, only behind The Empire Strikes Back.
Probably
which
E.T.
I don't think E.T. was one of them, but it grossed more money than Superman 3. So it was a big movie.
Yeah, Superman 3 was terrible.
Yeah, they say the thing about Superman 3 is that people claim that's the one that killed the franchise. And yet they did another one after that.
You had to try to redeem yourself, because think about it. When you did Superman 3, we need to do on the original Superman, all four movies. The best one to me was the second one. The second one was the best one, then the first one, then the fourth one, and then the third one.
What was the second one?
The second one was when it had Zod and all them.
Oh
Zod.
yeah.
And so that was the best one to me because it took too long to develop his story. It went all the way from his beginning to his dad dying and all that stuff. That just took too long. But it's still
the thing I think with the second one and the first one kind of intertwined, of course, because you got the same scenes in both of them. If you think about it, the beginning of the first movie is those three criminals going to the Shadow Zone.
yeah.
That's we'll have to cover that because I've actually got the box set of the original, so I'll definitely watch that.
He's a connoisseur of Superman.
Yeah,
I see.
comics and Marvel, DC. This guy.
See now you're in my wheelhouse when you say Marvel and DC right now.
Yeah.
See what we need to do is talk about. We need to do for a movie. Anatole, you get on there too. We need to do a comparison. What was of course we know which better version it was, the Snyder version or the Josh Whedon version of Justice League?
Snyder, man, come on, man.
I got to watch. Which is the 3-hour version? Is the Snyder version, right?
No, 4 hours. That was 4 hours.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I got to watch that one, but I didn't. I've got to watch it because it's the thing about these DC movies, these recent DC movies, including Batman, Superman, Dawn of Justice, and those like that. They are so dark, bro. They are so dark, and if you think about it, with compare and contrast to Marvel, the Marvel movies are lighter, but there are plenty of action in them. But they're just lighter. The tone is just so much different.
Just think about Zack Snyder. He did 300. So
yeah, and that's the way they look. That's the way all of them look, like 300.
One more fun fact before we move on. Y'all ever wanted to know how much they made when they on that orange juice, Anatole?
Yeah, I want to know.
At that time, they made $252 million
a piece.
Total. The profits were $252 million.
So they split that.
They split that. So 126.
Back then.
Oh
my, looking good.
Feeling good.
Feeling good, Billy Ray. But that's one of the classic movies of social experimentation right there. But But definitely Trading Places is a classic movie. I love that movie. I got it as the original DVD. I found it on Pluto TV. Also, it's still saved on my profile. I watched like the first 20-30 minutes of it. I started skipping through. I'm like, okay, I don't need to watch this. I could do this from memory right here.
Yeah.
But Bruce's Millions, you have to watch that one because, like I said, that was intricate in a lot of the stuff that they do in that one. That one is just memorable because it's easy, but this one you just have to remember from point where he went from 30 million to almost broke to getting back that $30 million to almost. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to give it away, but
yeah, that's a great movie. It's got that last little bit, the last twist and turns in it and everything. It's always good. And the thing about like John Candy plays a great part in that movie. The guy that was in Law and Order that plays the manager, I forget his name, that plays the baseball manager for the Durham Bulls.
Oh, Jerry Orbach.
Yeah. He's good in the movie. And then this one lady, that was the secretary.
Mm-hmm.
She plays she's in a lot of Spike Lee movies, and she was in a lot of those Richard Pryor / Paul Mooney films. So she was in Which Way Was Up and a lot. That's another one I had that right there. Which Way Was Up, right?
Yeah, and if you folks don't realize, Brewster's Millions has been done 5 different times. So, and we'll, like I said, that's a movie that's gonna be our next movie. We're probably gonna talk about this. I know playoffs next week, but we'll fit it in there. But just looking at the cast now, Lynette McKee, that's who you're talking about. Angela Drake, the secretary.
Yes.
And you talk about Pat Hingle. I know we split into 2 movies, but Pat Hingle was in the original in the movie version of Batman. He was Commissioner Gordon also.
Okay.
She was in she was in Malcolm X also. If you
Yep.
want to know. Malcolm X. She played on Louise Little. So
And she was in another movie we may have to cover. She Hate Me. Spike Lee joint. She Hate Me. That's a good. That's a good one.
Yeah, we'll get into her stuff. She was in Jungle Fever also.
Okay.
And one last movie for you before we go to the end. We can't forget the Sidney Poitier and Eddie Murphy trilogy of movies. Those movies were A Piece of Action, Uptown Saturday Night, and I forgot the name of the other one that fast. But those
Let's Do It
movies,
Again.
Let's Do It Again. Quick fact: I've been through a divorce, and the only thing I wanted was my movie set from that, and I got it. That's all I wanted, and I got it. It was that important to me.
There you go, Anatoly. There you go. There you go.
Is that not the house? Just the movie, dog. Just
I don't care about the house. Just give me my movies.
Take my money,
my house and my
car.
But not
don't take my movies.
No,
you're going too far. But yeah, let's end this show. Ryan, what's your one more thing before we go?
Man, one more thing. I'm gonna go back around to Mike Tomlin, man. Mike Tomlin, just great job. Just great job. Also, let me talk about my boy, what's my boy Hamlin? Man, that guy, the Buffalo game, you could not write it any better. The way that game started, from that point until the ending press conference, when you seeing Josh Allen tear up over their teammate, they return a kickoff for the first time in 3 years and 3 months. I don't know. Just saying, some signs. It's a sign. Sign everywhere. Sign. That's all I've got.
Yeah. What you got, Anzo?
Yeah, I know I'm not on the show that much. I'm behind the scenes, but I just gotta give you this little something I saw about one of our good friends, Representative Mike Rogers. This is from his website. Mike Rogers is a 6th-generation East Alabamian. He is a conservative, a Christian, the father of 3, and married to his wife Beth for over 35 years. This week, as some of us know, Mr. Mike tried to put his hands on Representative Matt Gaetz in Florida.
Gaetz.
Was that how you say it, Fabian?
Matt Gaetz.
Gaetz, because he wouldn't vote the way he wanted him to vote. Now, as a political science graduate, we know that during this time, a lot of the House of Representative members have their family and friends there, their children. So it was a scary thing to see that our government is losing control because you're mad because you don't want to vote. You don't vote the way I want you to vote. I mean, that's what it's democracy, right? We're supposed to vote how we want to vote. You can't make me vote how you want me to vote. So the Republican Party, my cousin Fabian had this thing every week called the Donkey of the Week. So the Republican Party is the Donkey of the Week this week. Go Dogs. 35 to 20 dogs.
Yeah, we covered a lot on this show with NFL and everybody. Starting on Wednesday, I think Tony and Damon are going to try to start calling me Fabian Bayless. Don't listen to that foolishness. I'm more closer to Stephen A, but I'm more writer than they are. I just don't get paid as much as they do to talk bullshit. So I want to fire everybody every week, but I say fire everybody every week to Airbnb get a job. How are teams already talking about their interviewing Jim Harbaugh, Frank Wright, Sean Payton,
Frank Wright?
Frank Wright. The Carolina job. He's being looked at for the Carolina job. Jim Caldwell, who should have never been fired in Detroit, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm gonna call for coaches fired every week until we get equity in the NFL, which we're not going to get because we don't have enough black owners. But neither does the NBA. But the NBA does a better job, not a great job, a better job at diversity, where half of your coaches are literally African American, and a quarter of your GMs are black. Now we're gonna talk about Paul Silas' son, Steven Silas. He should be fired because Jalen Green is not developing like he should. But I'm gonna call for coaches in the NFL to be fired too. Eric Bieniemy and DeMeco Ryans and Brian Leftwich. Those guys. And Deuce Staley gets a fair interview, not a token interview when he was with Philadelphia, because he's on Detroit staff. Let's keep that in mind. He's on Detroit staff. He should be somebody's offensive coordinator because they had one that had a top 5 offense over the last 8 weeks. Right now, Detroit just scored out 13-9. But I'm gonna call for coach to get fired. So when you see me on Wednesday, I might change my name, Fabian A. Smith. So that's our show for today. That's my one more thing. Of course, you can follow us on YouTube. Tell all your friends, like the page for Valley Boys Podcast. Like the page. We get to 1,000 followers, we can start getting monetized. We start making some money. Facebook for Valley Boys Podcast. Follow us. You know what we do. We out.